Hey guys, so question about plateaus. Elliot asked, for a while I've been stuck on the same times and barely improved anything, while there are guys in my age group going low 23s and even high 22s in the 53. I know it takes time for improvement and I'm willing to spend as much time as I need, but I just want to know if I'll get to a stage where I'll start dropping times like I used to. So, Elliot just started with swim strength. So, the biggest thing here is that you've taken the step to actually make a big change. Because, especially for youngsters, you're going to hit this point where you either start growing or you stop growing. And while your body is trying to figure out, what to do with, the new length of your bones, that growth spurt can really put a massive damper on because of coordination and because you're not as strong relative to your size as you used to be. It can really slow things down, put you in this plateau. But that's why actually starting a proper strength program can go a long way, particularly for people in those younger age groups or teenagers, because you're starting to directly build the thing that is what's lacking. You're directly building that strength, that coordination, and that speed, and just like building your structures to kind of catch up to your growth quicker. Another thing is to just realize that just by starting swim strength, you have made a personal decision that you're committing to getting better. You're committing to figure this out. And whenever you're stuck with anything in life, there's always a point where you realize, oh, okay, I've got a problem. And from that moment, you start to choose, I'm going to fix this problem. I'm going to figure it out. Rather than what a lot of people do is they just go, oh, I've got a problem. I'm going to complain about it. I'm going to stay stuck with the same problem. Because actually complaining about problems is kind of nice in a way to some people. You get addicted to complaining about the same problems over and over again. But when you break free of that, when you stop being a victim and you start to be like, oh, I'm going to take responsibility over my plateau, over this problem that I have, that's when things start to get harder in some ways, but they get easier in other ways because you actually start to learn. And things might seem like they're getting worse at first because you're becoming more aware of all these problems. But at some point, the tide starts to turn, and everyone that didn't spend that amount of time trying to figure out their problem, there'll come a point where things just start getting better for you because you've started to make connections, and because you took that hard time, because you took the responsibility, because you started putting in the work, things start to get better. And then from there, you just start learning, and getting better and better and better. And then you've broken your plateau. You don't have the same problem anymore. Then there'll be a new problem. But over time, as you gradually solve these problems, you start to learn more. You start to have better problems to solve. Now it's, in 6 months' time or in a year's time, it's no longer, oh, how do I break 23? It's, your smaller problem might be, okay, to get into the low 22s, my first 15 meters needs to be, 15.2 seconds or whatever. And at the moment, I'm at 15.5. That's a much cooler problem than, oh, I've been stuck for years. It's, wow, I've made so much progress to get to the point where I get to have this problem. And the problems gradually get smaller and smaller within the same category. Obviously, if you've got life stuff going on, then you should see this as the same thing with those things. Things usually are going to get, when you make that decision to change, they're usually going to get harder for a period of time, but that kind of is the key to accessing the answer. Often you ask for a problem to be solved, and life will give you some hardship to help you learn the answer. But it's cool that you have started on swim strength, because we help you kind of bypass a lot of the question asking or the figuring out part of that. So stick with the program, expect to feel weird and to feel different, because that's what happens when you change. You kind of go into the unknown, and your body's like, whoa, what's going on? And even your mind is like, what's going on? But if you stick with it, eventually you'll start to make connections. You'll start to become a new beast. You'll become a new person. And that's what we want. We want that transformation. So stick with it. You just started, Elia. So hang in there and give it a few months. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and you'll start to see things changing. And as they change, start to ask different questions, and then keep figuring this thing out. Glad to have you on board. I hope that answered the question kind of from a more bigger perspective. Might help some other people with other things that they're going through.